Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Wednesday, July 23rd. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
I thought you said you had it handled. I thought you said you had your elbows up. I thought you said everything will be okay, Mark.
A lone protester stands outside the Premier's meeting in Huntsville this morning with a megaphone trying to get the attention of the Prime Minister and country's premiers.
I can go on and on. I can talk to you for an hour. There's so many issues happening right now in Canada. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of sense of urgency.
Day 2 of the Premier's meeting took place inside Deerhurst Resort, but outside, the number of protesters grew by late morning.
We don't come here to ask for anything. We come to take our land back. Remember that.
Hundreds of people from various industries gathered with signs to voice their frustration of First Nations issues and the state of health care.
I'm here to let Doug Ford know that what he's doing to health care is unacceptable. Totally unacceptable.
Advocates from the healthcare industry showed up from across the country to make sure the Prime Minister and premiers all hear their concerns.
We know the issues of the day are trade, but our healthcare system is in crisis. And what we're trying to do is really push back on that we can't have a healthy economy if we don't have healthy people. So we need investments in healthcare.
The peaceful but loud protest was watched closely by police this afternoon. While healthcare and Indigenous rights were front and center outside, the focus inside was on the pending tariffs with the United States. The mayor of Huntsville says the eyes of the country are on her small town tonight.
The best way forward is working together on a united, sort of unified front. And that's, to me, we know that at the municipal level. And so to see it happening at our provincial and national stage is extraordinary, and that's why it's important to our town.
Now, the 3-day Premier's meeting wraps up tomorrow here in Huntsville as people across the country wait to see what comes from the discussions as the country moves forward in an attempt to finalize deals with the United States. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Huntsville.
On day 2 of the First Minister's meeting in Ontario's cottage country, the Prime Minister had a message for the nation's premiers.
What we collectively can most control is building a stronger economy, moving from reliance to resilience and division to unity.
That unity has been on full display in Huntsville. Last night, Premier Susan Holt signed a deal between New Brunswick and Manitoba that will allow for free movement of goods and workers between the provinces. While he didn't sign anything, Premier Tim Houston emphasized the need for one economy.
Everyone is really united and on the same page of just really seizing the opportunities that are before us that in the past we may have looked away from, that right now we're all looking squarely at.
He says with unity comes competition, as premiers will fight for their projects to be greenlit by Ottawa. On the top of Houston's pitch list, an offshore wind farm dubbed Wind West, he says could supply upwards of a quarter of Canada's electricity.
Everybody is, in some respects, waiting for the major projects office to open. That will be open, we understand, maybe by Labor Day, and there'll be capacity in there to really do analysis on them.
It'll make for tough decisions ahead for the new Prime Minister.
It's very difficult to please everyone. So Carney will have to confront that he is going to make decisions that will make some premiers and some provincial governments very happy and others not.
But before then, an August 1st deadline looms for a trade deal with the U.S. to avoid tariffs threatened to be as high as 35% by U.S. President Donald Trump.
It sounds like we're making some progress, although honestly, our trading partner is unpredictable and inconsistent, and so we were reassured, I think, by what the Prime Minister and the Minister LeBlanc had to say about how they're treating this.
The Prime Minister said he will only be accepting the best deal for Canadians. Ava McRae, CTV News, St. John.
The godfather of heavy metal, the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy Osbourne was a showman, a singer, and later a reality TV star, who rose to fame in the 1970s as the frontman of Black Sabbath. Known for his iconic wail, Osbourne was an icon of the heavy metal genre he helped pioneer. Today, the Osbourne family said in a statement, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England, Osbourne recorded more than half a dozen albums with Black Sabbath, including hits like Paranoid and War Pigs. But by 1979, his struggles with substance abuse were so severe, he was fired by the band. Mama, I'm coming home. Osbourne went on to have a successful solo career and was later inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, with both Black Sabbath and as a solo artist. Both beloved and controversial, Osbourne once bit off the head of a bat while on stage and was arrested for trying to strangle his wife while drunk. He later reconciled with his wife Sharon and became a reality TV dad to a whole new generation in the show The Osbournes, along with 2 of his 5 children, Jack and Kelly. In 2020, Osbourne announced he had Parkinson's disease and, despite his health challenges, tried many times to return to the stage. Just weeks ago, he performed from a black throne on stage with Black Sabbath in his hometown of Birmingham. It was his first show in 20 years with the original band members, and it would be the last of his legendary life. Heather Wright, CTV News.
Just hours after the man in his early 30s was gunned down in the street, loved ones came to pay their respects.
He's very humble, very kind, very loving. He's a very attentive dad because he's always with his son, always with his son. So this is like really shocking. I don't know him to be a violent person or ever. He's so kind, so nice.
The shots were fired around 5 in the morning in the West End neighborhood of Pelham Park, near Davenport and Old Weston. The shots so loud they woke up neighbors.
10 or 11 gunshots. It was maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then silence.
4 times, I say boom, 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 boom. Oh my God! Oh my God! For me, it's so terrible. You say, I know this is son. Oh my God! Oh, Jesus! Oh no! So very, very terrible.
One of the bullets broke through the front window of a house, and evidence markers were placed by the home's gas meter. Neighbors are thankful people living there were not injured.
God bless no one got hurt, honestly. And yeah, that's scary. That's scary, yeah.
The home is just a few steps away from where it appears the man lost his life. The scene is also just a block away from a police station. Officers say they arrived within minutes of the gunfire and found the man on the ground. Emergency responders tried to save him, but he didn't survive.
It's fairly brazen. As we're standing here at 11th Division, we can possibly see the crime scene not too far from here. And again, it's just an indication of the brazenness of some of these things that are occurring as far as violence goes. Yeah.
Now the homicide unit is investigating, working to solve who killed the man and why. Several people say he had been visiting family nearby. And one relative tells CTV News this is his car being taken away by officers. He says the family is terrified because the man previously lost his brother to gun violence.
The Thousand Islands duty-free store has been owned by the Butler family for 3 generations.
My father started with my mother in 1987. He's since passed away. I operate it with my mother now. But yeah, certainly it's a family business. And, you know, we've got staff members who have been with us 35 years.
But right now, things are difficult for the shop that sits at the Lansdowne, Ontario border crossing as Canadians forego traveling to the U.S.
It's an overall sales drop of about 30% at our store. And that's versus last year. We're down still about 40% to pre-COVID times because we hadn't fully recovered.
Statistics show there were 15,000 fewer trips from Lansdowne to Alexandria Bay, New York in June compared to 2024.
It's difficult. You know, I mean, we got hit with COVID. We didn't have an ability to pivot during COVID. We don't have an ability to pivot now, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Regulations for duty-free stores mean that they can only sell to those traveling internationally. The Frontier Duty Free Association is hoping to see changes.
Asking for any help we can get. What would help right now would be for the government to remove any red tape on our industry, any tax, a business tax on goods that our U.S. competition doesn't face, any policy that impedes competition.
The association represents 32 stores across the country and is warning 1/3 of their members could face closures if the trend continues.
It is very serious. We have been sounding the alarms. This is a viable industry. It's caught in a cycle of no fault of their own.
Butler says he understands people's desire to keep their money in Canada and is hoping that there can be help for small businesses like his.
We need that a little bit of support to get there.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News, Lansdowne.
This dairy farm in Hitchinbrook has been in Jason Erskine's family for 5 generations. There are 230 milk cows, and the business produces on average 16,400 liters every 2 days.
If we don't have supply management, I guarantee you this business would not be in business today.
Supply management is designed to protect dairy farms. Waterloo professor Bruce Muirhead says it's been in place for more than 60 years.
Egg producers and dairy producers were simply churning out too much milk and too many eggs. So as a result of that, we get supply management, which is a quota-based system.
There are limits to how much Canadian dairy farms can produce and how much from the United States can be imported to Canada. It amounts to roughly 3.5% of the domestic market. If American exports exceed this amount, they can be subject to high tariffs. For example, milk tariffs are at 241% and butter 298.5%.
So you can't have huge volumes of eggs or dairy coming in simply because it destabilizes the system and basically contradicts its its fundamental premise.
American President Donald Trump has gone after the system, saying it unfairly protects Canadian farmers.
The Americans, of course, are never, ever satisfied. They want more, and they want more simply because they produce far, far, far too much milk.
The Canadian dairy industry has fought for decades to preserve the system that experts say safeguards smaller family-run farms from being put out of business by larger American competitors.
Even though I think all dairy farmers are concerned with the situation, it's beyond our control.
Erskine plans to take care of what he can control, running his business and caring for the newest member of his farm. He hopes to keep in the family for generations to come. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News, Hitchinbrook.
It sounds like you're calling about homelessness. Is that correct?
It's the type of response you might hear if you call Sarnia's new AI homelessness hotline.
Are you currently in the Sarnia region?
It's not human, and it's not a voicemail recording. It's an AI response prompted by your answers to basic questions.
Do you need a place to sleep tonight or within the next 24 hours?
Sarnia Police Service and the city's bylaw team have launched an AI hotline in response to homelessness. People are encouraged to call the number to report any issues related to homelessness.
If someone wants to report an encampment, or if somebody wants to report perhaps disorder issues in a particular area.
The hotline follows the dismantling of Rainbow Park just south of downtown, where at times more than 100 people made the space their temporary home. Following public pressure and a court ruling, it was taken down last February.
What we're seeing now is a shift to a more of a dispersed population in terms of that demographic, which is another reason we've gone to the hotline, because we need a place for people to be able to report issues.
Part of the goal here is to get people out of the habit of calling 911 for everything. That's because while some issues do require a police response, other things can be handled by bylaw enforcement or other agencies. Some downtown businesses welcome another tool to help with homelessness.
Sometimes the people, they are just disturbing the people who are wandering and came for the shopping, and on the other hand we could help them.
But if this makes it easier and faster for the Sarnia Police, then I don't see it being a terrible thing.
In the meantime, Davin Lindforce, who says he has been homeless himself, wonders if the initiative further enables those not seeking support.
Empathy is a good thing, to have empathy to help another person out, but do they want help?
Being unhoused is certainly a factor, but it's not an excuse in terms of committing criminal offenses. So we are enforcing the criminal law as appropriate and as our citizens expect.
The homelessness hotline number is 519-346-HOME or 4663. In Sarnia, Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
This is just another example of people stepping up and making that decision to support sometimes people they will never, ever meet.
John Viacelli took the Show Us Your Brave campaign to another level Tuesday. He topped off the campaign, helping it go from $376,000 to the $500,000 mark.
I make feel good. That's the only thing I want, to helping people.
The money raised from the campaign stays local.
We make sure that we're supporting the program and ensuring that they're getting state-of-the-art equipment or supporting the programs that currently exist and ones that will likely unfold.
Now, according to Jonathan Foster, VP of Cancer Services here at Windsor Regional Hospital, the need has never been greater. He says in 24-25, there were 5,000 consults for new cancer diagnosis here at the center, with another 116,000 visits across all service streams.
That's about a 10% increase year over year that we've seen steadily. Windsor-Essex has one of the highest growth projections for new cancers in all of Ontario.
Cancer doesn't stop because the economy changes. Cancer doesn't stop because of uncertainty. We have to show our brave. We have to step up. We have to continue to do it.
Foster says the increase is in all ages, with lung, prostate, breast, and colorectal being the most common cancers seen.
That's why things like the stem cell program that we're doing, as well as the new radiation bunker, are so important for us to be able to treat these cancers as they come through.
Fundraising money through the Cancer Center Foundation has helped support the stem cell program and radiation bunker, which have, in turn, improved cancer survivorship.
The best message is to make sure that you're getting your routine checkups with your primary healthcare provider, your NP or your GP. Do the routine screening that gets put out there, because the earlier you get diagnosed, the better your survivorship chances are.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
What began as a voluntary evacuation for residents in Isle Cross soon became mandatory for those with health concerns. The community's deputy mayor, Vince Anicu, says roughly 200 people have left the village. And while the fire isn't an immediate threat, the smoke is.
We finally decided to get some people out, and the hospital sent out the long-term care patients and their patients at the hospital. And we did the same here in town. We got a bus coming in from SPSA.
The province now has 2,800 evacuees, with 8 communities under an evacuation order. Environment Canada forecasts widespread smoke to continue Wednesday in Saskatoon, where Isle Cross already sent some residents hoping to escape the smoke up north.
We sent people to Saskatoon, and what happens? All the smoke goes to Saskatoon. Why did they send us here?
An air quality warning was issued for much of the province. The Air Quality Health Index has reached level 10 in several areas, considered very high risk. And Saskatoon residents are feeling the impact.
I'm kind of in a habit of going on the bike ride every morning, so I don't want to miss it, but it's bad.
Like, even waking up, my windows weren't even open, but you could like smell it in the house.
Some are masking up just to go outside.
It makes me feel like I have a cold all the time. Like it's hard to breathe. I get a runny nose.
Environment Canada says that 2025 has been the 3rd smokiest year on record for Saskatoon and 2nd smokiest year on record for Prince Albert. There are 52 active wildfires burning across Saskatchewan. This year, there have been 378 in total, well above the 5-year average of 289. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
In some zones right now, basically existing in the zone is considered essentially an exposure.
A group of doctors coming together to express frustration. The provincial government will not declare measles an epidemic in Alberta.
When Alberta's 1,400 cases are larger than the number for the entire United States, and we have 12 times the number of active cases as Texas does per capita, there's no doubt that this is an epidemic.
The latest update saw 18 new cases across the province, bringing the total number since March to 1,472. More than 400 of those in kids under the age of 5.
There's this misconception that measles is a routine illness, a routine childhood illness, and it's not. It's high contagiousness and relatively high rate of complications and hospitalizations make it unique.
This panel, put together by the Alberta Medical Association, is urging Albertans at risk to get immunized.
Getting the vaccine is the best way to protect against getting measles. The measles vaccine is safe and it's effective.
Dr. Lenora Saxinger says kids and pregnant women are most at risk.
Anyone who's at risk should make sure that their inner circle is up to date on their vaccines and have had 2 doses, because that can actually provide protection as well if the people that you most commonly associated with are protected.
The province says suggestions to declare a province-wide outbreak or epidemic do not reflect the current data, as the vast majority of cases remain concentrated outside of Edmonton and Calgary. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
A decorated veteran with the RCMP. Many say Rhonda Blackmore has displayed integrity and leadership throughout her 30-year career, including her time as commanding officer of F Division. But her sudden removal from the position last month has several people searching for answers, including retired Mountie Ginny Perreault.
She was kind of for some of us anyways, I can't speak for everyone, but our beacon of hope for change, and now that just disappeared very quickly, and we still don't know why.
Blackmore assumed the position of commanding officer in April of 2021, but on June 3rd, she was dismissed from her position due to what she claims are anonymous complaints made against her. Those complaints have not been made public. Former and current members of the RCMP believe the lack of transparency surrounding her dismissal is both frustrating and concerning.
That reason of why she's gone, we don't clearly know. This is a first for me, this type of removal. It's certainly the first time I'm this aware of it, and that I have kept thinking about it and not wanting it to be lost in the news.
Perreault, not the only one expressing their frustration. Current members wishing to remain anonymous reached out to CTV News in support of Blackmore. One saying she was the only dedicated member at her rank doing the job for the right reasons, not to increase her pension, but to improve the RCMP and support members as members used to be supported, adding, "We really hope Rhonda will fight this." Another writing, "What Rhonda is going through makes me incredibly scared to speak and to continue serving as an RCMP member. She's honest and trustworthy, and she's proved over and over again she's willing to stand up for police officers and has our backs every step of the way." The provincial government also expressing unease over Blackmore's removal.
It took us by surprise, and we've said quite publicly that we're disappointed in that decision and looking for answers. We're incredibly pleased with the work that she was doing as a partner for the government and other police agencies across the province.
CTV News reached out to the Federal Minister of Public Safety for comment, but did not hear back before deadline. We also reached out to Rhonda Blackmore, who was unable to provide us with an interview, but did say she is grateful for all the support she's receiving during this time. Blackmore has since been named Assistant Commissioner of Indigenous and Support Services for the RCMP. Assistant Commissioner Robin McNeil is serving as interim commanding officer for F Division until a selection process is completed. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Regina.
From transportation to venues, the legacy of the 2010 Olympics is infrastructure for British Columbians, in addition to showcasing Vancouver as a tourism destination. How will the 2026 World Cup leave its mark? Is it worth the rumored $600 million price tag, particularly during a trade war? Is this the right time to be spending money on an event that is discretionary?
It's not discretionary anymore. It's happening. And so we have to deliver the event. That does not mean that we can, be reckless. We need to look at the event and manage it hard, be tight, but to create opportunity.
The CEO of Vancouver's 2010 Olympic Organizing Committee is enthusiastic about the city hosting 7 World Cup games next year.
I think you set out with these things with the best of intentions. What you want to do is to stage these events to achieve a greater good, like to achieve real deep legacies as a result.
The FIFA World Cup 26 Vancouver host committee has kept a low profile compared to Vanok, but the lead says
you're going to see a lot more of all of us. So this is a big group project
with the Soccer Federation driving the bus.
It's very much a centrally coordinated event. And so typically what happens is that FIFA has milestones around planning, and then the 16 cities, we present our information.
And that means some consistency across the host cities in Canada, the US, and Mexico on everything from turf to ticketing. And organizers won't have full information until December.
Part of our challenge is that we're still operating in a zone of unknowns. These details are still landing. For example, we don't know what teams are playing here yet. That is like a pivotal piece of information. And once we know that, it's going to be like floodgates opening.
In addition to logistics is the question of what kind of vibe the World Cup will bring.
The atmosphere downtown is vital to the overall success of the games.
We very much want to see the same magic happen that we saw during Expo, the same magic that we saw during Taylor Swift, the Olympics.